presence of our chair for this session, Shri Rajendra Singh, Member and Head, National Disaster Management Authority, India. With a bouquet of flowers, a floral mark of honor, sir, please accept. Let's hear it once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Shri Rajendra Singh ji. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time from your very busy schedule and joining us today. Thank you. I'm now going to request you, sir, to please also thank our co-chair, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, with a bouquet of flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge thunderous round of applause for our Secretary, sir? Dr. M. Ravichandran, thank you, sir. May I now request you, sir, to thank our eminent panelists. We start with Shri Sanjeev Kumar Jindal, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs. Let's hear a round of applause for him. We have over there only Dr. Mihir Bhatt, Director, All India Disaster Mitigation Institute, seated that side. Let's hear it. Have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kamal Lochan Mishra, ED, Odisha State Disaster Management Authority. Let's hear it for him. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause? Come on, everybody. Let's keep the energy up in the room and thank our eminent panelists for coming here. And may I also request you, sir, to please thank Dr. V.S. Prasad, Head, National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. There he is. Dr. T. Balakrishnan Nair, Director, Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. Let's hear it for Dr. T. Balakrishnan Nair. Thank you very much, sir. To you as well. Shri Sanjay Agarwal, DDG, DM, Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications. Shri Sanjay Agarwal. Let's hear it for him. And Shri Nilesh M. Desai will join us shortly. So Shri Nilesh M. Desai is going to be joining us shortly. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this session is structured like so, that we begin with Dr. D.S. Pai from the India Meteorological Department, who's going to welcome everyone for this session and also establish the context for this session, post which we will then hand it over to our chair to take it forward along with our co-chair. So I'm going to request Dr. D.S. Pai to please now take over and set the tone and welcome everyone.
Good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to all the dignitaries in the panel here, in the dais and in front of the dais. Without wasting much time, because I know everybody is very keen to hear from all the panelists, so I will directly go to the presentation on setting the tone. So ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very important panel discussion in early warning for all, both national as well as global perspective. And then it will be followed by the stakeholders meeting of 7 important sessions today and tomorrow. Today we will be discussing on disaster risk reduction, and remaining on agriculture, water, health, energy, transport, etc. will be, panel discussion will be held tomorrow. So, coming to the importance of this meeting, all of you know that the climate change is happening, and it has got an impact on all the social and economic aspect of our society. In all the sector, it has got impact. I will not go detailed into that. We have impact on health, agriculture, water resources, coastal areas, ecosystem or biodiversity, or because of all that, all kind of livelihood of our society. As you know, the importance of weather and climate services, We know that without knowing the expected changes in the weather and climate conditions, proactive and anticipatory adaptation approaches are very difficult. Therefore, users might identify several measures that are suitable to different scenarios, but the more we know, the better can be responses. Therefore, we need easily accessible, timely, and decision-relevant scientific information that can help society to cope with extreme weather condition and current variability, and that can limit the economic and social damage caused by weather and climate-related disaster. And weather and climate services also allow society to build resilience to future change and take advantage of opportunities provided by the favorable condition. As we know, these early warning systems are a proven cost-effective disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation measure, which has been demonstrated to save lives, livelihoods, and ecosystems in the face of weather and climate-related hazards. That is why we will have a very two important panel discussion now and afternoon, both in the national and global perspective. And we also know that the importance of early warning system by giving just 24 hours notice of an impending hazardous event could actually reduce damage by almost 30%, while investing just a US dollar of 800 million in multi-hazard early warning system in developing countries can help in preventing losses of around $3 to $16 billion annually. So that is why we want basically the importance of weather that we are discussing here is to make the country and society weather ready and climate smart. And coming to the importance of this meet, why the stakeholders meet are important, mainly because we know putting engagement and communication is the center of the process. The challenges created by climate change are complex, all of we know, and wide-ranging, and the process for dealing with them efficiently are still evolving. Therefore, it is inevitable that the sectors that are sensitive to the weather and climate and important for the well-being, safety, and security of the society don't have all the right answers. In fact, no one does have that. And only by trying different approaches and crucially asking and sharing what is important, what worked and what didn't, can they help develop a robust solution. So that is why all the sectors have been invited here, and having a discussion with that, we can have come out with much better approaches. For this, engagement and communications are very essential, not only to share information and data, good practice and showcase successes, but also to understand priorities and shortcomings and to explore what lessons can be learned from them. This is important to focus on information that are essential for the users and for better decision making. That's why the stakeholders' engagement and communications are becoming increasingly central to effective management of weather and climate risk. Coming to our stakeholders, you will see that there is a pyramid that I have shown. Here, the most important at the top is the India Meteorological Department and all our research and modeling centers like IITM, NCMRWF, INCOIS, etc., which actually generate a lot of weather and climate data, climatology, real-time monitoring, forecast projection, information, etc. In addition to these important agencies which provide the climate and weather services, we also have got a research service organization from weather and climate sensitive sectors like agriculture, disaster management, water, health, energy, etc. What we call, they actually provide value-added products by using the weather and climate information from the IMD and other agencies, and they add value addition for these sectors. So therefore, you will see that these three important stakeholders becomes the main weather and climate service providers. And coming to the boundary organization like disaster managers, paper and electronic media, internet, telecom service providers, NGOs, private organization, they all help actually in taking this information, our climate and weather information, they also communicate and convert this into sentence or communication which are understood by users, and therefore they are also very important in the dissemination of this information. And finally, in the stakeholders are the end users, like local and state, national level end users, policy makers, government planners and administrators. They are the primary users, and then the final beneficiaries are like smallhold farmers, fishermen, vulnerable communities, general public. Therefore, you will see that all this actually forms the major stakeholders of the weather and climate services. Coming to finally, the objective of this meet is to have an interactive discussion within the all kind of stakeholders within the country and outside the country on mainly 4 points actually. The first point is about the status of use of relevant weather and climate information and services, how the stakeholders are making use of this information from IMD and other agencies which are providing the services, and then to identify what weather and climate information products further required by these users. Thereby, we will understand what are their requirements for planning and decision-making process, and thereby it will help us in developing tools for the communication, monitoring and verification system for exchange of weather and climate information between service providers and participants. And we also want to understand from the stakeholders how this sector organization can help IMD in improving the weather and climate services. Therefore, entire our panel discussion today and tomorrow will be mainly on this objective, and we are expecting the outcome of is that the stakeholders meeting will help us in coming up with a recommendation on specific requirement of weather and climate service products by the user sectors, understand the challenges and capacity gaps faced by the various stakeholders, and areas of action and cooperation among stakeholders to address these challenges and gaps, and thereby how we can go forward to meet participants or stakeholders' requirements. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, ma'am. Distinguished co-chairman for today's important session, Sri M. Ravichandranji, my dear eminent panelists, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and very warm greetings to everyone present on this momentous occasion of 150 years celebrations of IMD. It is really fitting that we mark this milestone on the very auspicious day of Makar Sankranti. And I will say happy Makar Sankranti to all and everybody sitting in this hall. Happy Pongal, happy Pongal, happy Bihu, and happy Ganga Sagar also to each and everybody. Today we are celebrating 150 years of IMD's exceptional, IMD's extraordinary, IMD's meteoric journey, and we must pause to reflect on the unparalleled contribution it has made to the nations and to the people. IMD is not just an institution. It is a backbone of India's disaster management system, safeguarding lives, livelihood, and safeguarding our infrastructure with unwavering dedications. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to chair this important panel on the subject of early warning for all, a national perspective, as part of the stakeholders meeting on IMD's weather and climate services. Not taking too much of time, everybody knows that how important is early warning for each and everybody. Morning, Honorable Prime Minister has already cited two examples of Kutch Kandla in 1988 and Paradip incident in 1999, where thousands of people lost their life. And we are here today in 2024, where we have reached to zero mortality in this particular sector. And all kudos goes to IMD, its team, their dedication efforts, and early warning system, early warning they are providing to each and every individual. And that today's theme is also discussion is early warning for all, aligned with the global commitment, that is Sendai framework, which talk no one leave behind, ensuring that every individual, including the most vulnerable, receives timely and actionable alert to safeguard lives and livelihood. In this context, this panel here with me is with 8 panelists we are having. The goal of this panel is not just to identify challenges, but also to propose actionable solutions so that we can transform early warning system into life-saving tool for each and every individual. I encourage all panelists to bring their expertise, their share insight, contribute to crafting a holistic, inclusive, and way forward looking strategies. Before I hand over mic to my co-chair, Sri M. Ravichandranji, my request to all the panelists is to first, we are giving you 2 to 3 minutes to each panelist to speak out about your vision and what is the expectation from IMD, and what you expect from IMD and what IMD expect from you people. This is the relation, this is the synergy we like to build from here. We want to bring, today we are happy that we got the scientific sector here, we got a policy maker, Sanjeev Jindalji here, we got a private NGOs here, Meher Bhadji is here, we got all sort of panelists here, and they have to give us the 2 minutes what they are expecting and what we expect from you, so that we can move all together in one platform, in one direction for Viksit Bharat. So before I hand over to Ravichandranji, you please like to say anything to
Thank you. Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. And first and foremost, thank you all for coming. And it is an important milestone day for India Meteorological Department. I think since this panelist we started, I think already he has set the tone. What we are trying to get out from this panelist discussion is, as rightly pointed out, there are some observational group, there are end users, or many people are there. So from your perspective, what is that you are expecting from India Meteorological Department, especially in terms of services, and also what you can contribute to the India Meteorological Department in terms of observation from in situ, or maybe somebody from ocean modeling, and all these people are there. So we try to get information from you, what is your expectation, so that we can collectively, we can work together for improving the weather and climate services for the country as a whole, as well as for the global, entire global. So I think I don't want to take much of your time. Then I will summarize at the end what you are bringing out. Then we can have take-home message from your talking points. With this, I don't want to take much of your time. You can start the question, maybe
initial remark from Mahapatra Saab, from you. Mahapatra Saab, I know you are very fond of talking and taking too much of time.
Yeah.
This time
minutes.
only 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much, esteemed chair and co-chair and my distinguished co-panelist. At the outset, I congratulate all of you present here and joining online on this auspicious occasion of 150 years of India Meteorological Department. As the tone has been set in, and as has been told by our chair and co-chair, and previously by Honorable Prime Minister, Secretary General, and Honorable Minister of Earth Sciences, I will not repeat all these. I just want to say that country has progressed in all spheres, starting with each and every component of disaster risk reduction. And the first and foremost component is early warning for all. And when you talk of early warning for all, there itself there are various components, beginning with the observations. Then comes the modeling, forecasting, early warning, then its generation and dissemination to the last mile. I will be concentrating ourselves towards the importance of observations, how important it is to have a very realistic observations, quality observations, dense observations, frequent observations, so that you can have a realistic atmosphere and ocean and land surface process at any time. If you can have that, that data can be digitized and can be assimilated in the models to provide the better forecast. At present, IMD and Minister of Earth Sciences have a seamless forecasting system with well-defined observational network, and we have come up a long way to deal with the large-scale weather systems like cyclones, low-pressure systems, depressions, western disturbance, etc. But when you talk about the lightning or thunderstorm or very localized heavy rainfall event, the challenge comes up. Still, such type of events go undetected. It is not detected 100%. And then also it goes unpredicted. So the target is that by Vision 2047, we should have all these very highly localized, small-scale, severe weather events also should be detected and predicted well in advance, and hence there could be early actions and hence no loss of life and property. So towards this direction, yes, Mr. Mosam has been taken up, but there are already existing data set in the country which are not available to IMD. So I take this platform to request all the state governments, all academic and institutes, whatever data you have, please provide to IMD so that we can utilize those data in real time and also share the historical data. When you talk about the early warning for all, it has got 4 components. One is the knowledge and risk assessment. Other one is the forecast and observations. Third one is the impact, etc. And fourth one is the communication. So therefore, if you can have the historical data, we can have the better impact-based forecast and risk-based warning, and also the localized severe weather warning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Over to you, Prasad.
Respected chair and co-chairs, and festive greetings to all of you. And I congratulate IMD and DJIMD for this 150-year celebrations. And without wasting much time, I will go to the topic. And as DG told that modeling observations are the prime duties of IMD, and CMRWF, we are doing the numerical modeling. For early warning, we have the different models, all scales of models. At CMRW, we have the modeling for the nowcasting to the seasonal forecasting and medium range forecasting. And you know that modeling is required, the initial conditions based, that observations are required for that one. We are making many efforts to get the international data also, and as Prime Minister announced today, that Mission MOSAM is going to get more and more observations. We request IMD to strengthen the observational network so that we get all the observations in the real time. Especially now we have the highest resolution city scale models, 330 meters, and also for giving the fog forecast and city level forecast. And also at the same time we have the high resolution mesoscale models. And now for catching the tropical cyclones and high rainfalls, we are going towards coupled model. Not only atmospheric observations, we require the observations on the ocean, and we are doing the process for land surface process, and we are going to the oceans, and we are going to the atmosphere, and coupled, in the near future, we are going to implement a coupled model which will catch all type of all type of weather forecasts from seamlessly from the 330 very high resolution city scale models to the global models. And with these models, I think we are able to give the early warnings, and also we have to the city scale model, and also we give the best forecast for seasonal forecast also. All the with the seamless forecasting system, and we at the encouragement of the government of India, we are become part of the international community, and we are co-owning a unified modeling system with other international agencies, and also with major satellite data providers also we're getting the data. With all these things, with modeling system, we're strengthening towards getting the early warning system, and we hope by 2047, our young scientists preparing a young vision document in which we are going to the digital earth and give the forecast at high all resolutions in near future.
Thank you, Prasad. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Mihirwat.
Thank you so much. My respect to the chair and celebrations for the 150 years. I can't believe it's such a great honor. I'm going to quickly focus on early warning for all, and the all part, I want to especially emphasize migrants, workers, and tribals of our country, and people who have been affected population from various disasters. So that's my perspective. And national perspective, so I'm going to take national perspective from bottom up, if I may, and see what the 56 cities where we've done city disaster management plan, 86 districts where we've done disaster management plan for the districts, and 9 state disaster management plans, how do they see early warning and what would be useful for them to see in the coming future. So keeping that in mind, the first thing which has been extremely exciting and should continue is the democratization of early warning that's taking place. Never before early warning has been so widely spread across the democratic institutions of our country, and nowhere else so far early warning has been used so much by the citizens of our country. So that's one thing which is very good happening, and we should consolidate on that in the coming years. Second thing is about the harmonization, that never before so many sources, so many scientific disciplines, and so many applications are being harmonized into early warning, into one early warning system for a specific hazard, and that's something I hope we continue and build on that. The third thing that we think is coming out from our experience from the states and the districts and the cities, bottom-up view, is the monetization. We always monetize the losses and damages, and there is a whole global thing set up, but we don't monetize what we have saved. And why is that the case? Life saved and property saved, assets saved, infrastructure saved should be monetized, and we should be able to say that this particular early warning has actually saved this particular amount of money because of early warning. So that's the fourth. And the last one, and I was so happy to see the feminization of the early warning that is taking place, and I hope that continues, because women are the new early warning users in large number, at least 50, but they are also producers, as we saw, in terms of early warning. So those are the 4 things I would very much like to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mihirji. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sanjeevji.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. My greetings to all on the auspicious occasion of Makar Sankranti, and my heartfelt congratulations to IMD for glorious 150 years of journey which we are celebrating today. The chair asked me about the vision. So from the Ministry of Home Affairs, where I work, our vision is to make India a disaster resilient country by 2047 with minimum to minimum loss of life and property, and the life we say the zero casualty, as also mentioned by our Honorable Prime Minister today morning. In the disaster risk reduction, where I work in my present portfolio, early warning is the one single most important pillar, and we work very closely with the IMD in our preparedness, in our mitigation, in our capacity building. And whenever there is any early warning of extreme weather condition, I got a call from Dr. Mahapatra, and it gives me alarm bell, something is coming. And then our machinery set rolling, though we have the machinery already there, but it's set rolling to take action from the national to the ground level. to make our preparedness. And this is the result we have today in the cyclone preparedness, where we reach the zero casualty. And you asked about my expectation from IMD. My expectation is that the success we achieved in the cyclone early warning, we want the similar early warning in other weather forecasting like rainfall, lightning, thunderstorm, to be as accurate, as specific, and with advance notice to our prepared agency. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Sanjay ji.
Thank you, sir. As Ministry of Communications, we are jointly working with IMD and NDMA to make sure that any warning reaches to the end public. And I'm really proud to announce, and since the Secretary General of WMO is here, so it is a proud moment to announce that in India we have developed one of the largest early warning alert dissemination system, which caters to 1.40 billion people. And in last 2 years, we have disseminated 43 billion SMS to alert people all over. India is a multilingual country, so we deal with multilingual things. The system which has been done, it is a cutting edge technology, and it is as per international standards. It is multi-mode dissemination where we deal with SMS, we deal with cell broadcast, we deal with radio, TV, announcement on the railway platforms, coastal sirens, even in deep sea with navigation system, we can send the message. So that is the all-encompassing, a very cutting-edge technology. And this journey over the period of last 2 years has not been without challenges. There has been a lot of challenges because all of the places we have the legacy network, whether it is a telecom or a radio or TV. So in 2G, 3G, 4G, when we talk of telecom, there are multiple suppliers. So creating interfaces for each of those was a bigger challenge. Even regulatory environment and the policy were not supporting him at many places. So we dealt in a very collaborative approach, talking to the stakeholders so that they come on the platform, they collaborate with us, collaborate with NDMA, and we have made some regulatory changes and policy changes. Again, since we are in a very, very unique position, I have seen globally, I was in Malaysia last year, so I saw that many countries in Asia Pacific are not having a good system and they are still struggling. So we can collaborate with WMO and any part of the world to provide the technological support as well as the know-how that how to do it, because doing it in such a large country with so many complexities was a big challenge. So administratively, policy, regulation, legal issues, all of those we have dealt very closely. So with that, I'm really thankful to this particular occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Nilesh ji.
Good afternoon. At the outset, let me compliment IMD for its 150 years. In fact, we had been collaborating with IMD and MOEs since almost last 50 years, being an observation data provider, so from space. So we had been working very closely with IMD and NCMRWF as well as INCOIS. As far as the provision of observation data is concerned, we had been jointly working on utilization of Earth observation and weather data. Apart from that, the data obtained from satellites undergo a lot of validation and calibration. So we had been working on those aspects as well. So we'll continue to do that, providing the models as far as other data related to radiance data assimilations. That is also one area of collaborative work between us, and of course, observing system simulation simulators. That is another area where we had a lot of progress. Of course, with ocean-related activities, we had been working on wave model assimilation with INCOIS, and as far as the buoy data assimilation, which we collect as a ground truth data from ocean, and of course, we had a history of working on PFZ-related activities. But coming to the space reforms and new data policy, of course, Met Ocean data has been always free, and we have been following the open science policy. But with the new space reforms and induction of startups and many new private sector companies also coming into the fray, so we hope that the forecasting and nowcasting ability can be improved with the introduction of this data into the private sector, how it can be better utilized apart from government sector. And with the new generation satellite systems, which I will talk about during the second round, there will be a big leap forward for disaster risk reduction related to ocean, and that will, and again, early warning for all, what Dr. Agrawal ji mentioned. We also contribute through our NAVIC messaging services and navigation system for dissemination of early warning data as well. So that is another area where ISRO and space data can be utilized very effectively. So all in all, there are exciting possibilities of using space data for improving the nowcasting as well as forecasting abilities and dissemination of early warning systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilesh bhai. Thank you. Dr. Balakrishna.
Thank you, Chair and Co-Chair. And my greetings to our brother IMD for completing 150 years. And it's very nice that it's my privilege that I could be here and share my thoughts about the ocean forecasting, which is actually we are closely collaborating with IMD and providing our services. As you know, that INCOIS is a multi-hazard warning center for oceanogenic hazards. It is an RSMC for the wave and ocean prediction, and it's in the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning Center for 25 countries. The question what asked to me is actually what is the improvement we can make for the ocean observation and the modeling for improving the forecast. As you know that the ocean observation now we have is it is has to be focused as a ocean observation systems or a multi-purpose ocean observation system with all real-time communication which will be going directly to the forecast models so that we can have the best the ocean forecasting. As you know that compared to the land area, the ocean actually it's a dearth of ocean observations. The ocean observations are very essential for the accurate forecasting. So as you know, also know that the ocean doesn't have the boundaries, the political boundaries. The data we should also get from the entire Indian Ocean region. In this regard, it is also my request that we should have the basin-wide the ocean observation systems in which the WMO and the IOC can play a major role. As a chair of the Global Ocean Observation System also, we are thinking in this way. So the modeling aspect also, we have to have a lot of improvement we have to do, especially for the incorporating freshwater influx and then the tidal mixing, wave mixing, etc. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Bala. Kamalji.
Esteemed Chair, esteemed Co-Chair, distinguished panelists. So far, my experience of early warning system and dissemination is concerned for disaster management. I feel that early warning essentially does not convert into people's action. It requires a lot of effort to drive that into the popular consciousness of the people, disaster consciousness of the people, and to convert the early warning reception as a disaster subculture of the community. That is why, despite all early warnings, people have to be evacuated. They do not go to the cyclone shelter on their own. So, we need to have a very continuous interface with the community. We call it communicating with the community. The disaster early warning must be communicated to them the way they understand. Naturally, whenever a man or a person is in distress, he wants to believe somebody powerful, somebody reliable. The administration can only fit into that. So, the scientific community engaged in early warning dissemination, early warning generation, are to have a very intimate relationship with the administrations at different levels of the country, who translate that information into popularly understandable disaster subculture conscious language so that they understand, assimilate it, and act upon that. Next is, whenever there is any distress, any disaster, people depend on the reliable source of information. Today, in the age of multiple media, digital media, and social media, we have to have a very robust regulator framework to control, differently presented information on early warning. Last but not the least, I draw inspiration from Dr. Mahapatra, Director General IMD, that data is required for helping the India Meteorological Department to convert those early warnings into actionable points by the people. And I'll request IMD and Government of India's senior officials who are present to have a policy framework issued to all the state governments, because a lot of data is available. Only thing that the mechanism must be accentuated to provide that data to IMD. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kamalji. That goes the introduction remark, and now we know what they are doing and what their expectation from us. Now my first question goes to Kamal Lochan Mishra, to you only, because Odisha has been an example and front runner in early action and early warnings. And you people have really done when goes to saving of lives.
Thank you, sir.
Evacuation of people, early action. We have seen your evacuations during all the, maybe it is a Amphan, or it is a Bulbul, or it is a Ramel, how efficiently, how effectively you have evacuated your people. Now my questions here is to, what are the lessons learned and what further should be done to avoid any property, infrastructure losses in future? And what is your action? What Odisha thinks about that, and what is the Odisha state vision to avoid these property losses? Can you give in not more than 2 to 3 minutes, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, sir, property loss occurs whenever there is an extreme weather event affects the very structure and about the location of that area. So whenever a kacha house is located in the low-lying area, whatever information we provide or whatever early warning we provide, the submergence is going to affect that land, that house. So we need to have the hazard risk vulnerability analysis of every particular area, every microcosmic area of the locality, and the information of early warning must be provided to that person in the language he understands. That's why till now we have been able to protect life, not the property. And to help the poorest person in the remotest part of our country, we need to have the social sector housing scheme augmented as per the disaster vulnerability of that area. One document, one format of social housing does not fit everybody. The person who is having a high land can construct a house with the amount of money government provides him or her under the scheme. But somebody who is staying in a very low-lying area, we need to provide some extra funding with the intention that he raises his plinth so that his house is not affected by at least heavy rain. Number 2, sir, we need to have our banking system to support construction of houses with national level policies so that the poor person can construct house with little bit of lesser interest, etc. So he'll be encouraged to have a raised plinth or stronger house to resist the elements of nature. Sir, we evacuate people by continuously talking to them and establishing a relationship normally during the 360 days a year so that they listen to us when you speak during the disaster. Unless that interface is there, they will not listen to us. And Odisha has been doing it for last almost 25 years. From 1999 till 2025, sir, we have completed 25 years of our paradigm shift in thinking. And this is our observation that housing sector and property must be as per the vulnerability analysis of the area, not in the administrative boundary action plan area. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kamal, for a lovely answer. Thank you very much. And I know the Odisha is taking a lead and doing a lot of things in that field. Now, my second questions go to Mr. Sanjeev Jindal, who is a policy maker, who is in last 8 years in the ministry, is one of the most renowned person who knows disasters so well. He is making policies, making plans, making mitigation plans and all. And he understands disasters risk reduction very, very deeply and very, very nicely. My question to Sanjeev ji is, there has been a significant improvement in disaster risk reduction when we talk about large scale disasters like cyclone, depressions, monsoonal low pressures, and other systems also. But however, still people are dying into thunderstorm, heat waves, and lightning, and heavy rainfall induced, which goes to secondary hazard like landslide and floods. What are the government of India? What do you think? What are the plans to improve disaster risk reduction for small scale disasters? Will you throw some light on this, please?
Thank you. This is really the area of concern for the government as of today. Our Honorable Home Minister as well as the Honorable Prime Minister have been focusing upon how to reduce casualties during these such small-scale disasters, especially the lightning thunderstorm. I would like to address this question in 3 parts basically. The first is the early warning. The early warning window for as of today is very small, very short period I would say. Like for example lightning, though we get the alert, but the alert period is only for 30 minutes. So within 30 minutes you have to warn the people, and the people have to shift to the safe location so that they get saved from that. The second part is, in the early warning, you asked about how we are improving. So today the Honorable Prime Minister launched the mission Mausam, and we expect that the advancement in the early warning system to spread across the country as with the spread of their monitoring stations across the country, so that we get the specific location-wise forecast, and with the reliable warning as well as with a sufficient advance period so that people at the ground can take precautionary action. The second part I would like to address to the preparedness and capacity building. In the preparedness and capacity building, a lot of efforts are being taken by the national, state, and the district level, by the government agency as well as the various NGOs which are assisting the people at the ground. In the preparedness, we have plans at all the levels. At the same time, we are building capacity of the people through doing school education, the mock exercise which are conducted regular intervals, school safety program which are conducted, so that the people know what to do, what not to do during any disaster, whenever there is alert is there. At the same time, we have trained 1 lakh community volunteers in the name of Avda Mitra in 350 disaster-prone districts. And now we are adding to this voluntary force 2,40,000, the youth, by involving youth from NCC, NSS, Bharat Scout and Guide, etc. So this will be a continuous process to involve the youth and community in the disaster preparedness, because community we see is a first responder. And our Prime Minister says that to make the preparedness and response a Jan Andolan. So when it becomes a culture, like we talk about the Japan, like whenever there is earthquake, every child knows what to do during any earthquake. So when people understand that during disaster we need to take action and to build our own capacity, so when this initiative comes from the people, the job of the government become minimal in this regard. In the preparedness, other various efforts are being taken, like we have National Disaster Response Force, State Disaster Response Force for early action. At the same time, community building, capacity building I talked about. And we are also working on the IEC, so regular basis, various programs on the multimedia are being broadcasted, what to do, what not to do. The third part I would like to address through the mitigation. The government of India has set up the mitigation fund, and at the national level and the state level. So now all the state government are preparing various action on community level to mitigate the effect from this disaster. And I believe with all these measures, we will in the next coming period, we are going to achieve success, what we achieve in the cyclone mitigation. And I am very confident that with the improved early warning, we will be, and our preparedness and mitigation, we will reduce the casualty of life and property in this area also. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeevji, for elaborate answer, what government of India think and what they are doing it in the future. Thank you. Now my questions goes to Dr. Mihir Bhatt, who is the director of All India Disaster Mitigation Institute, Ahmedabad, and very closely associated with NDMA also. In every forum, whenever there is a need of any mitigations program, we are launching, we are starting, and there is a man who is known as mitigations expert in our country. Now, you are already known as various mitigative actions for heat and cold waves. You have already undertaken so many mitigative program on this heat wave and cold wave. Now the forecast for heat waves has already increased and has improved. It is reasonably goes up to 5, now I think up to 7 days. I think it is improved up to 7 days. But still the exposure to large populations, 1.4 billion, and everybody cannot afford a good housing, and the exposure of this type of cluster is more are in the urban area, if you see that. How, I want to ask Dr. Mihir to you, how public and private partnership can help to extend the application of heat wave warnings, early warning services to each sector to minimize the loss of lives. And it's a very, because last year, the hottest year we have seen in India, and now India is taking a lead at the World Forum, where we are leading the team of early warning system, early warning for early heat actions plans. So now, what is your views on public-private partnership? How you are going to implement what you are doing in your state, Gujarat, and what is the suggestion you want to provide to give to all the states, so that before the season heat season start, we want to implement those implementations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is extremely important and overwhelming question as well, but I will definitely address that. I will draw from three sources. One is our work with the WMO support on SREX report on extreme events that we had done, and we were coordinating the 14th chapter on where we had to really fight to get the extreme heat included. That was the time in 2014, but now it is. And we've been trying to see that something is actually done about that. Second is the lessons learned report with the ODI to see that globally what are all the measures taken to address extreme heat, and what are the lessons, 10 lessons that we don't need to think about. And that's something is very much there. So I'm going to draw from that. And third is our own work on the ground with small businesses in urban areas, 6 of urban areas in India, and the small farmers in 3 states which are worst affected to extreme heat. So drawing from that, I'm going to suggest how mitigation fund, which we also think is not very far from resilience fund, if one may say so, can do. One is to directly approach the demand side of early warning as much as the supply side. And what is needed is there is a much wider variety of diversity of demands that are coming up, and that needs to be addressed in terms of locations, in terms of occupations, in terms of intersectional data requirements, and in terms of co-creating the early warning itself. So that's first thing which could be done, and which is being done actually, so it's not something that needs to be start new. The second thing is moving from early warning to crisis ready. So how do you be crisis ready so that we are not only warning, but actually it's action oriented? And on that, what we find is very much needed for four very much meteorological reasons. One is that extreme heat, but other extreme events are also cascading, and we need to be worried about that. They are also co-locating, and that's something which has not happened before. To have cyclone on both sides of India's coastline is something very, very rare. Third, what's happening is compounding risk as well. So because of these three reasons, we need to move early warning to be crisis ready, and I can talk about that later in the questions. The third is to move early warning to anticipatory action. So it's not a warning, early warning, it's early action, and how do you move to that? And now we have the data, now we have the capacity in terms of technology, expertise that we have because of the people that we have in the scientific community, at local communities, we can really move on that. So that's on the anticipatory action. And the last one is something which is really far off, but really not that far off, and that is to have a transformative early warning or radical early warning for extreme heat. And I say that sort of one concrete example would be, shouldn't we be naming each extreme heat event so that we can identify what has exactly happened, for example? Or should we not be, for example, taking not only extreme heat early warning, but cooling warning, that what are the opportunities to actually cool planet, where and how and with what information, and that is something is now possible to do, so we should be doing that. I'd like to sum up with one idea which is, I think is possible, at least for India to lead, if not maybe any other country. And so far the early warnings has been for a group of people or location, particular location or a specific hazard. But it's possible technologically, and we've done some homework, and we hope the UNFCCC's report, IPCC report will underline that, and that is that can you have early warning tailor-made for each individual? And I know it can, but we need to move into that direction by 2047, that early warning will get, every individual will get a tailor-made early warning. And that's possible because of machine learning, AI, intersectionality of data, so on and so forth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mirbhai, for this. And now I'll go to Mr. Sanjay Agarwal. There has been a quantum jump in information and communication technology in recent years. Now my questions to Sanjay ji is that how can India help other countries to achieve UN target early warning for everyone, for all, by 2027?
Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, when we implemented here, we faced a number of challenges, but we can divide it into two sets. So one is that the existing players, like whether it is TV broadcaster or radio broadcaster or telecom service providers, they are not willing to provide the vehicle for alert dissemination because they have their own services, they have a fear of security or other considerations. So for that matter, we have to have a lot of regulatory changes and policy changes. While I was in Malaysia, I saw that in many of the Asia Pacific countries which are facing this particular challenge are not able to meet it. And even if it is funded by ADB or World Bank, then also that fund is not getting a right direction because before funding the necessary agreements were not done that these regulatory changes will have to be made by local government. So that understanding we have. So one thing is that we can certainly support WMO initiative. Second set of challenge was that those people who provide these services, there is a monopolistic market in terms of technology providing. And in India, fortunately under the able guidance of Modi sir, we have our own research institutes. So India developed its own technology, and that technology is very much cheap as compared to any other. And rather we would prefer that the low LMIC countries develop their own capacity, so we can provide that technology on transfer to them, and we can have their own technology development centers. So that is these are the two methods wherein we can go ahead.
Thank you, Sanjay. Now I'll ask Dr. Balakishan, my old friend from 2009 onwards, and he is the person who's heading the inquest now, and that time, that system we have started for the fishermen, which Honorable Prime Minister was talking, key fishermen is coming back, is due to the one is the early warning system, early warning we are able to provide to them, and second, that system which is prepared by you and developed by you. Now my questions to you is, Bala, as a head of inquest, which is generally responsible for providing ocean information services, what are the challenges to improve the ocean observations and modeling and hence the forecast? What are your views on this?
First of all, thank you, sir, for supporting INCOIS from 2010 onwards for the ocean observation systems. As you know, that is a key pillar for improving the forecast. So what we require at this moment is actually a kind of a operational ocean observation systems, which all the data is going real time to all the ocean models. As you know that the ocean observation system should be real time, and it should be more sustainable. The problem happens is most of the ocean observation system have faced with vandalism issue. So we should actually think of more technologies. For example, submarine smart cables we are coming with, how we can actually incorporate with this without the surface buoys. That is actually one revolutionary thing we have to do for the ocean observation systems. So I think, and there the global ocean observation system also thinking in that way. Another important factor is actually the constellation of operational satellite. Now we have the satellites, but actually it is not enough for observing the oceans to give the better forecast and services. So that is what one thing we need to improve the things. Second thing is the ocean modeling. Ocean modeling, yes, there is so many gray areas like the influx of fresh water and then the mixing process. These are the things has to be improved to improve the coastal forecast, especially the currents. As you know, sir, actually the communities we are giving the search and rescue aid tool as well as the oil spill, which is, you are very well aware of that one actually. For that, the ocean currents are very important. At this moment, we don't have the program or the assimilation system for the currents, but that is a very important thing. And more, another additional thing is that all numerical models cannot solve all the issues. For we should have a hybrid system including AEML and the numerical model to the forecasting purpose. These are some of the challenges I feel and some of the my ideas. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Bala, and my compliments to you for giving early warning system on tsunami to 26 countries, which is a big job, good job you people are doing it. Keep it up. Now, Dr. Prasad, you are heading National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, and you have already said that though the model are performing better compared to previous year. Now here still there are a large uncertainty when we talk about a small scale weather hazard and also for heavy rainfall. Could you throw some light on what is the future plans to improve the models, including the hazards and impact models?
Thank you, sir, for your compliments. And as you said, our modeling forecast probabilities are improving over the years. Now we have almost the models that are one of the best models in the world, and we are forecasting value has been increased over the years. But as you know, the NWP is the initial value problems. We required more and more observations and also good computing to resolve the models for physics. And as I announced in the morning, we acquired one of the fastest computer in India, that is ARCA and Arunika, with 20 petaflop systems this year, and this system is available. We are making available of the system near future. We are going to that one, and also to improve the physics. And Minister of Earth Science has taken many initiatives. We have started testbed centers. For example, for monsoon, we have the testbed center at Bhopal, and also for studying the cloud microphysics, we have high altitude cloud lab at Mahabaleshwar. And also for thunderstorm studies, we have the Ministry's testbed center at Bhubaneswar. And all these data sets and will help us to study, improve the models, much more physics, and make it to for Indian conditions to make it that one. And recently we have developed a CASE microphysics, new microphysics that we implement in our model, with which the lightning scheme, we have modified with the lightning scheme, and the lightning scheme skill are improved. And with the improvement of the models, as you told that, we have done a reanalysis data set. From last 40 years, we generated a high resolution regional reanalysis and the global reanalysis. So about 40 years reanalysis data is there. Using this data set, we can drive the AML models to improve our forecast. So not only numerical models, we are trying to improve get the AML, and for that one we are feeding the AM models. We are running the reanalysis about very high resolution reanalysis in the about 12 kilometer reanalysis data that is available, and the quality of the reanalysis that we produce is one of the best in the world, and many papers are coming out of that one. And using the high computing power is available, we are improving the model physics, and also we are attempting to the AI and ML techniques, and using the reanalysis data, we are hope that we'll able to resolve the heavy rainfall soon.
Thank you, Prashant Sahab. Thank you very much. Now the question goes to Dr. Nilesh Ji. You are heading the Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. We know that satellites provide lots of information for weather and climate services. What is your plan in the coming years for additional data from satellite for improving weather forecast, especially localized weather and lightning?
So a lot of exciting possibilities await us as far as satellite-based observations are concerned. So one of the things we have already worked out with MOES is the design of a new generation INSAT 4th generation series. Right now we have been using INSAT 3D series of data, where we have 3 satellites operational, providing operational services. Now we'll move on to the INSAT 4th generation, where we'll have a advanced imager system, which will be a 18-channel system compared to the 6-channel which we have right now. Similarly, we also will be including a lightning mapper, which has been a major requirement, especially for the states like Bihar, where lightning is a very recurring phenomena. So lightning mapper has been included. In fact, we were thinking of having a precursor experiment using one of our microsat satellite also. So that will give us a lot of inputs when we go for operational services for lightning mapper. Similarly, we are now going for a hyperspectral infrared sounder, which will again provide more data. So the basic emphasis is on having improved spatio-temporal services along with the very high spectral resolution. So all these things put together will provide us a lot of information which we can utilize to improve the overall forecasting as well as nowcasting abilities. So these are all the changes we have been thinking of, and we have been closely working with MOES to give our collaborative efforts as far as the Mission Mausam as well as Mission Deep Ocean is also concerned. So these are some of our future plans which we need.
Yeah, that is more than sufficient, and we know. what you people are doing. Great job. Now, we have started with Mahapatra sir. No. We want to hear something from you. That is, first of all, congratulations for organizing such a mega show. And we all praise you. And since last 1.5 years, you and Ravichandran Saab are working so hard. And finally, it was a very grand show and very successful show. My compliments and everybody compliments to you and your team. We are not asking any questions to you. Only thing, the vision document which you have released, the vision document which you have shown, we have shown only how it was look like and how it's released. What is inside the vision document? And I am not talking about 2047. I am talking about, just give me the audience, the 2025, 2030, the 5-year vision, what you are going to achieve and what is achievable by IMD and how you are going to achieve it. Shortly, I'll be grateful.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, the Vision 2047 is really, it is a very thoughtful document. It has been prepared by the young scientists working within IMD. That was the policy taken up by Secretary and myself, that those who have the service of 20 to 25 years in future, they should prepare this document. Of course, there were the mentors from us. So by that way, we have taken into consideration the past achievement in the past 25 years, from say 1999 to 2025. That gives us the strength how we have achieved and whether we can achieve the same rate at least in the next 25 years. The next one we have taken to think about the emerging technology into considerations, which can help us to convert the dream into the reality. The third one is that we have compared with other leading countries through a benchmarking procedure to find out where we stand with respect to each and every severe weather event and how far we can proceed accordingly to match with them and we can go ahead of them. With these three actions, we have this vision document consists of the vision, the mission, the strategy, and also the expected outcome. It covers all the basic severe weather hazards, and also it covers all the sectoral applications which are contributing to socio-economic development. So as you told, I'll just briefly tell that taking the 25-year service, if you say 99 to 2025, if you consider a simple example of cyclone, at that time we did not have any numerical weather prediction model. We did not have the Doppler radar. We did not have automated weather stations. Just we started in 1997. The density of observations was more than 110 kilometer one observations. And now we have got 45 kilometer one observations and forecast accuracy, we know how the pinpointed. Now considering this achievement and development of 7 numerical models being run in IMD and Ministry of Earth Sciences at present, and every day we look at 10 to 12 models which are available globally and within IMD. And also if you look at the dissemination and the technology of ICT, we have come a long way. At that time a telegram was being sent, it was taking 12 hours to give the information to the district collector from the headquarters of Meteorological Center. And now, within a few seconds, messages are flashed up and action is being taken. We have come with common alert protocol, social media, and many digital media, etc. So looking at that, I feel by 2047, as Mihir Saab told, every household and every individual will have a tailor-made weather forecast and early warning, which will be impact-based forecast and risk-based warning. Each and every sector will have its application, and we will have completely weather in climate smart nation. And not only that, at present we are just providing weather forecast. We'll be moving towards weather modification. Maybe by 2047, there will be attempt towards weather management. Okay, but considering the next 5 years, the baseline has been drawn today with the launching of Mission Mausam. With this Mission Mausam, the details have been told. We are planning that there should be at least 10 to 15% improvement in forecast accuracy by next 5 years. And no severe weather, whether it is lightning or thunderstorm or the localized heavy rainfall, should not go undetected and unpredicted during last 5 years. With the establishment of 126 radars and many other observational systems, and accordingly modeling system also will improve. Thank you very much. One more point just I will add, every citizen will be a scientist. The Citizen Scientist program has started by IMD. We have the crowdsourcing program. I will urge upon all our audience here, please adopt this crowdsourcing program, be a citizen scientist, and support the collection of data in analytical form, which can be converted to ICT in digital form, and that will also enhance our capability at every household and every village. Thank you.
Great, Mahapatra sir. Great, excellent. Now I'll request co-chair to kindly sum up the things.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rajendra Singh ji, for nicely conducting and various questions relevant to all the panelists. And also they have provided many useful informations. I think among the panelists, I think 3 of the institutions is from the Ministry of Earth Sciences. One is INCOIS, another one is NCMRWF, another one is IMD. So these 3 institutions, they are working together, then they are providing informations. Basically, IMD and INCOIS, they are providing various kinds of observation system, and they are augmenting more and more observation system both in the atmosphere as well as in the ocean. And whatever we observe, that is not only for assimilate but also understand various processes. Now, NCMRWF rightly pointed out, they are trying to improve the model, not only numerical model but also AIML based approach. They want to fuse them both together so that they can go for better forecast. And the model physics also they are trying to change it. So these are the various institutions are working together to improve the observing system, to understand the various processes in both atmosphere and ocean, because it is a coupled system. Then third one is trying to improve the model and forecast to the community, early warning for all. I think they have made many of the important points which they want to plan for the next 18 months or next 2 years, the next 5 years, and also in 2047. And this information, whatever has been provided by these 3 organizations, I think nicely pointed out by the communication. So how this information reaches to the people, common people. So he has nicely pointed out the various applications which we have mentioned, that how fast for so many billion people, how fast he is able to communicate the information in a fast, shortest time, because that is more important. Depending upon the various hazards and disasters, we need to communicate. So I think they developed a very state-of-the-art communication system. And you know that 43 billion people, they have communicated in few years, I think. 2 years, in 2 years. That is a very huge things. And of course, they are coming out with the new policies as well as regulations in the coming years, so that we will be having more and more reachable to the people, not only from the cities and villages, and it will go to any place, not only in the land, but also in the ocean. So that is, they are working on it. That is very good initiative. And other important, before that, all 3 institutions, I think one of the important point is ISRO. ISRO's contributions are very huge for weather forecasting, because the various satellites, their contribution, of course, if you assimilate any of the data sets, the highest, the more number of data, more than 70 or 80% of the data goes from satellites. So that injection into the model, so that we are able to get a better simulation and forecast. I think now whatever the future, what he has mentioned about in the new year, whatever the new system which he has planned for what is called INSAT 4D, that means 4th generation, as well as he also planned for hyperspectral, then also for lightning imaging sensors. I think this is very, very need of the hour, because the lightning frequency has gone increasing in the years to come, in the recent years, as well as it will be likely to go on increase. So we need to monitor lightning very precisely, so that it is very important. We need to launch such a system in the coming years. And other 4, some of the colleagues and friends, they have very nicely pointed out about various, whenever there is a disaster management, how do we prepare? Because it is very important. When early warning is one, of course, like nicely was Jindalji was mentioned about how not only early warnings, how do we prepare, how do we mitigate, that is also very important. So they have to hope up with what is possible to give by early warning, by some of the meteorological and oceanographic information they should know, because what you are, when you are preparing for it, what is possible, what is not possible to be known. I think that is more important. So we are definitely we are working together for various aspects. How that means what are the information available and time to time, and also like a specific user specific some of the industries or maybe the civil society as well as various private partners, how they can contribute to reach the various warnings to the people. That is also very important. And one of the important our disaster management, when you talk about the Orissa's disaster management is very active, because not only because of the cyclone, but also from the early time from 97 onwards, they have built up very strong disaster management unit, and that unit they are able to provide much more. Of course, many of the states they have to learn the best practices from you, from your state. I know that it is working with various, not only national but also international community are working, and it is able to do much better services. And finally, we are talking about Mission Mausam and other things. I think we have a plan for more and more observation, and at least in next 2 years, as Dr. Mahapatra mentioned about, entire country will be populated with the radars. Nowhere in our country without a radar coverage. That is number one. And also we are planning to go for not only surface observation, but also we want to monitor entire atmospheric column, so that we will be able to have a better forecast ability, because we see that the forecasting capabilities improve whenever we have more and more observation in the upper atmosphere, or especially in the atmospheric column. I think the sounder and other things, definitely it will be very useful for improving our forecast in the coming years. In next 5 years, we want to build a system, maybe the infrastructure to be in place in all the observation capabilities, whatever possible, the new technology, whatever is coming, we want to imbibe, so that the next, after, by reaching, when we are reaching 2047, whether we can do maybe much more what we are forecasting, not only forecasting, but also like weather interventions or maybe weather management. Of course, it is a huge task. For that, we have to learn much more. So we try to continuously learn new techniques, new science, new knowledge, so that we will be, eventually we will topple the weather, that means we will reach the weather management aspect in 2047. That is our goal. Basically, it's a big goal, but of course we want to have more and more understanding. That is the key. With this, I once again thank you all the panelists for providing various your viewpoints, and definitely we need to work together, because it is not that separately forecast providers and other things. We work together in the coming years, and like what we are doing now, and maybe we will collectively improve our services for the benefit of the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our chair and co-chair and the eminent panelists. With that, I'm going to request our DG, India Meteorological Department, Dr. M. Mohapatra ji, to please help us felicitate and thank with a memento our chair first, sir. So please thank Shri Rajendra Singh, Member and Head, National Disaster Management Authority, India, with a small token of our appreciation and gratitude once again for leading this wonderful conversation. Thank you very much, sir. That was truly, truly meaningful, and you steered it so beautifully for us and kept it very engaging. So, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chair, Shri Rajendra Singh ji, Member and Head, National Disaster Management Authority, India. Thank you, sir. And I once again request Dr. Mohapatra to now present the next one to our co-chair, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a thunderous round of applause and thank our co-chair. Thank you very much, sir, for your vision, always. Thank you. And I'm going to now request our chair to do a few honors of our panelists. So I'm going to request Shri Rajendra Singh ji to please step forward. I request the chair and co-chair to step forward and present mementos to the esteemed panelists. I'd like to request you to start with Shri Nilesh M. Desai, Director, Space Applications Center, ISRO. Let's have a round of applause. Shri Sanjeev Kumar Jindal, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs. And ladies and gentlemen, if we can accompany that thank you with a round of applause just before lunch, I thank you very much for showing all the energy. Thank you, sir. And the photographer is going to need a photo opportunity, and we thank you once again, Shri Sanjeev Kumar Jindal. Thank you, sir. Dr. Kamal Lochan Mishra, ED, Odisha State Disaster Management Authority. Can we please thank him, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for the applause, and thank you, sir. Dr. Mihir Bhatt, Director, All India Disaster Mitigation Institute. Let's have a round of applause for Dr. Mihir Bhatt. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. V.S. Prasad, Head, National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. And let us accompany that with a louder round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we thank him. Thank you for the applause, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Dr. T. Balakrishnan Nair, Director, Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. Shri Sanjay Agrawal, DDG, Department of Telecommunications, is going to be next. We request you to please accept this small token, sir. Shri Sanjay Agrawal, DDG, DM, Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications. Thank you very much, sir. Chair and co-chair, gentlemen, sir, I would request you to please now also thank Dr. M. Mohapatra with a token. Yes, please, can we have a token? Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our DGM, IMD, Dr. M. Mohapatra. Thank you for that resounding applause for Dr. Mohapatra. Thank you, sir. And Dr. D.S. Pai, India Meteorological Department. We have to thank him as well. Dr. Pai, please step forward. Let's have a round of applause for Dr. D.S. Pai, India Meteorological Department. Thank you so much, sir. With that, I thank the eminent chair, co-chair, and eminent panelists. The photographer is going to need a group photo opportunity, so I request the eminent panelists to please step ahead of the dais and give us a group photo opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a lunch break. Lunch is being served in the multi-purpose hall. The VIPs are going to be escorted appropriately to the other rooms in the venue. And we are going to be starting with the next session, which is post-lunch, which starts at 3 p.m. That session, ladies and gentlemen, is at Auditorium 2, at level 2 of the same property. So I'm going to request you. For the VIPs, the rooms allocated are MR 18 and MR 19. And they will also be escorted suitably. However, it's Auditorium 2 for the next session, which we must not forget, because there's another very, very compelling session that awaits your presence, ladies and gentlemen, at level 2. So Auditorium 2, level 2 is where we request you to join us right after lunch. So we have a couple of minutes. We've got about 15 minutes for lunch. Please do join us, and then we will see you at Auditorium 2 of level 2 of this same venue. Thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen. Multi-purpose hall is where lunch is being served. And for VIPs, meeting room 18 and 19 are allocated. Those are the designated lunch venues. Thank you very much once again. And thank you to the eminent panelists.
That means we don't know.
Like these three are okay. Three, whatever three
What
they
is written, I don't know.
there is no three that names are okay. But one is all three are not regions. One is the sea mount out of that. So they will correct that. After that only. So I will send that.
Okay.
Once
You know Rugved?
which one?
Rugved?
No, I don't have his number.
Be there.
This is an announcement for all our VIPs that MR 18 and 19 are actually at the level 1 of this venue. So lunch venue, the allocated rooms for VIPs are at level 1 of this building, meeting room 18 and 19. As far as lunch for all of us, we have to go to the multipurpose hall, ladies and gentlemen. So we will go there and enjoy our lunch, a sumptuous lunch. And then we will come back to Audi 2 at level 2 for the next session, the next technical session. So thank you very much once again.
Good, well, sir. I was relieved. Now I can sleep better.
For all with a global perspective. We witnessed the national perspective in the plenary hall, and now it's time for the global perspective. We are indeed absolutely honored, ladies and gentlemen, and we feel very privileged to have in our midst our chief guest for this session, our chair, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Let's extend a round of applause and welcome him in our midst and acknowledge his presence. Welcome, sir. Namaskar. Aapka bahut swagat hai. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. And our co-chair for this session is Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director, NIAS and former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. We welcome him. And ladies and gentlemen, we will very shortly begin with the session, so I request you to please take your seats. And we will be beginning. We will just reset the days very, very quickly. I know this is a session that we don't want to miss. And I see the enthusiasm in numbers in this room. So thank you very much. Those of you who are still outside, please do join us and take seats. And we will just take a minute or two to reset the days. Now, this session, ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to bring on stage the National Meteorological Olympiad winners. But that will happen in a bit. For now, I request you all to please be seated. A polite reminder to everyone to keep their mobile phones on silent. They should not be ringing. I thank you very much for your kind cooperation. Those of you who are still outside and would want to come and join this session, please do join us now. We will begin very, very shortly. Any chairs? We're just waiting for chairs.
Presenting, so yeah, that's fine. That'll just plug into here.
Technical personnel call them.
That's okay.
May I request a member of the technical team from the console to come and help sir with the presentation, please, while we prepare to rearrange the days very quickly. Somebody from the technical team, console, can somebody help with the laptop quickly? Organizing committee, may I bring your attention? We need the technical person to...
Yeah, somebody can.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. There's someone coming.
I think she's first, so.
She's first.
राइट साइड पोडियम ना उसका प्रेजेंटेशन है ये बंदा ज्यादा हाइट है
ठीक हेलो देख लीजिए मैम आप इस पे बोलेंगे
मैं मैम की हाइट के अकॉर्डिंग ऊपर कर दूंगा Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your patience. May I request you to please settle in. And here's a polite reminder to all of us to keep our mobile phones on silent. I thank you very much for your kind cooperation. And we are soon going to be addressed by our eminent panelists who will grace the stage. And this particular session, ladies and gentlemen, is being graced by our chief guest for this session, Dr. P.K. Mishra, the Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister of India, who is here with us, and we extend a very warm welcome to him. We also have our co-chair, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director, NIS, and former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. And joining this session, ladies and gentlemen, in just a bit, as soon as we are ready to start and everybody is inside, we will also have panelists, Professor Celeste Saulo, Secretary General WMO, Dr. M. Mohapatra is going to be joining us, the DG of India Meteorological Department, Shri Kamal Kishorji, SRSG for Disaster Risk Reduction, Mr. Abdullah Rashid Al-Khadori, PR of Oman with WMO, and we also have Dr. Sanjay Srivastav, Chief of DRR UNESCAP, Mr. Ishida Junichi, Counselor for Research and Development JMA, and Shri Abhas Jha, Practice Manager, World Bank. So I invite you all to please be seated. In case your colleagues are left behind, you could give them a call and invite them. This is a session which is absolutely unmissable, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a very pertinent and compelling session because this offers a global perspective on early warning for all. And so I invite you all to please take seats and then we will begin. I thank you very much for your kind cooperation. We just need a few minutes more and then we will start. Thank you very much. Flowers are ready. टेबल रखेंगे तब तो रखेंगे दो रखेंगे दो तो बहुत हो गया ये कितनी प्रोटेक्शन कितनी और चाहिए बताइए हो गया हरमीत मैडम तीन
सीट तो है ना, ये नहीं आ रहे हैं, ये आ रहा है, बस हो गया।
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. We are now good to go. We can begin. So before lunch, we had a very enlightening session, which was on early warning for all, but it offered the national perspective with very eminent personalities gracing that session. It was chaired, ladies and gentlemen, by Shri Rajendra Singh, Member and Head, National Disaster Management Authority of India, and co-chaired by Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. We had very, very eminent speakers, plenary speakers and panelists who graced that session. And that food for thought along with lunch is still in our minds. Now we gear up with more and more energy for this next session, which will offer a global perspective on early warning for all. And it is indeed a great privilege for me to invite our chair, our co-chair, and our panelists to now grace the day. So I'm going to request our chief guest for this session, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, Government of India, to please join us on the dais. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you once again, sir. May I also invite our co-chair, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director, NIAS and former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Let's welcome him with a round of applause as well. Very warm welcome to you, sir. I now take the privilege of inviting our eminent panelist, Professor Celeste Saulu, the Secretary General of World Meteorological Organization. Let's welcome her, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back, ma'am. Warm welcome again. I now request Mr. Abdullah Rashid Al-Khadouri, PR of Oman with World Meteorological Organization. There he is. Let's welcome him to the stage with a round of applause. Mr. Abdullah, warm welcome, sir. I also now invite Dr. Sanjay Srivastav, Chief of DRR, UNESCAP. Let's welcome him, and thank you for the applause, ladies and gentlemen. May I now invite Mr. Ishida Junishi, Counselor for Research and Development, JMA. Let's welcome Mr. Ishida. Warm welcome, sir. Shri Abhas Jha, Practice Manager with World Bank. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen, Shri Abhas Jha. Warm welcome, sir. And we also have on the dais Dr. M. Mohapatra, the DGM of IMD. And I'm also going to request, not only is he going to be in the capacity of a panelist, but I'm going to now request him to welcome our chair, our co-chair, and eminent panelist with bouquet of flowers. So I'm going to request you, sir, to please first welcome with a bouquet of flowers as a floral mark of honor, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, Government of India. And I thank you for the applause, ladies over there. A huge round of applause once again. Once again, we thank you very much, sir, for taking time out of your very busy schedule and joining us. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. And let us now thank our co-chair, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director, NIS, and former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. And we thank you so much, sir. Let's hear a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Shailesh Nayak. Thank you, sir, for taking time out from your schedule. And we have our eminent panelists. Let's welcome the lady first, Professor Celeste Saulu, Secretary General, WMO, the World Meteorological Organization. May I request you, sir, to please welcome Mr. Abdullah Rashid, PR of Oman with WMO. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abdullah Rashid. Sir, please help us welcome Dr. Sanjay Srivastav, Chief of DRR, UNESCAP. Dr. Sanjay Srivastav, Chief of DRR, UNESCAP. We'd like to now